Hare Krishna, welcome everyone to our weekly Gita class. Let's begin with the Mangalacharan prayers. Om Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmelitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscham श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतमसावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणि वञ्चाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम् हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये नीलाचल निवासाय नित्याय परमात्मने बलभद्र सुभद्रभ्यं जगन्नाथाय ते नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna. So we have completed the ninth chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and today we'll start the 10th chapter. So in the ninth chapter, we have seen the most confidential knowledge about devotional service. This six chapters of the middle in the Bhagavad Gita, like from 7 to 12, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. These are prominently speaking about Bhakti Yoga. The first six chapters are talking about predominantly Karma Yoga, and the last six chapters are talking about predominantly Jnana Yoga. So there are total 18 chapters. So the middle portion is about Bhakti. And within that also, this ninth chapter was the most confidential knowledge. In the seventh chapter, Krishna has given some knowledge about devotional service, some knowledge about the energies of Krishna, how Krishna is manifested throughout this entire universe regarding different poses of worship. And in the ninth chapter, the pure devotional part is much more elaborated. Krishna gave the Aishwarya Gyan, Achinta Bhedave Tattva also in this chapter. And the exact middle two verses of the Gita also we saw here. Like Bhagavad Gita has 700 verses. So if we take the exact middle two verses, that comes 9.13 and 14, which speaks about Srimati Radharani and chanting the holy names of the Lord. And then Krishna explained about how demigod worship is indirect worship of Krishna, but that is not in a recommended way. Therefore, the demigod worshippers do not get the benefit of Krishna worship. They do not get liberated. They get some temporary benefits, and again they have to come back and they go through this cycle of repeated birth and death. And then at the end, glories of Krishna Bhakti is discussed. So we know that Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all Upanishads. In the Gita Mahatmya, there is a verse Sarvopanishado Gavo Dugdha Gopalanandana Parthavatsa Sudhir Bhokta Dugdham Gitamritam Mahat. The Gita Upanishad, the Gita is also counted as one of the Upanishads or Bhagavad Gita, is the essence of all the Upanishads, just like a cow. If all the Upanishads are considered to be a cow, then this Gita Upanishad or Bhagavad Gita is the essence of that cow. The essence of cow means the milk. And who is milking the cow? Lord Krishna himself. So Upanishads are like the cow, and the Lord Krishna, who is famous as cowherd boy, is milking this cow. Arjuna is just like a calf and drinking the milk of Bhagavad Gita and enlightening himself. So, following the footsteps of Arjuna, we should also enlighten ourselves with this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. And learned scholars and pure devotees are to drink the nectarian milk of Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all Upanishads, and Bhakti Yoga is the essence of Bhagavad Gita. We have seen in many verses, Krishna has spoke about this essence Bhakti Yoga. And within that also chapters 9 and 10, 9 described about the pure devotional service, and 10 will discuss about Krishna's opulences. And that is also important because once we know the opulences of Krishna, we become attracted or we become devoted towards Krishna. Our devotion for Krishna increases. Okay. Just by seeing how Krishna, how opulent is Krishna, we get attracted to different opulences in this world. There are like in the definition of the Supreme Lord, who is Supreme Bhagavan, Parasar Muni describes 6 opulences. The personality who possesses the all 6 opulences in full is called Bhagavan. Aishwaryasya samagrasya viryasya jasasya shriya jnana vairagayoschaiva sannam bhaga itirana. Aishwarya means wealth, infinite wealth, unlimited wealth. Aishwaryasya samagrasya, complete wealth. Viryasya, complete strength. Jasasya means complete fame. Shriya, complete beauty. Jnana, knowledge. And Vairagya, renunciation. So one who has all these 6 appearances in full, he is called as Bhagavan. In this world, we see some percentage of these appearances we can find in some within some people, and we get attracted to them. If someone is intelligent, someone is slightly knowledgeable, someone is little beautiful, we get attracted towards them. And Krishna is full in all the appearances. So once we understand these appearances, we get attracted to Krishna. Our devotion for Krishna increases. The name Krishna has a meaning also. In general, we know that the proper nouns might not have a meaning, but the Sanskrit names, they're very, very scientific, and every Sanskrit word has a meaning. So the word Krishna is the name of the Supreme Lord, but at the same time, Krishna means all attractive. Similarly, Rama is also a name of the Supreme Lord. It means the all pleasurable, the reservoir of all pleasure. Okay. So Krishna is all attractive, but due to our ignorance of the opulences of Krishna, we do not get attracted. So this 10th chapter shows the vibhuti or opulences of Krishna, which like increases our devotion towards Krishna, and we get attracted to Krishna. And in the 9.34, the essence of Krishna Bhakti is already explained. 9.34 says, Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishyasi yuktaiva matmanam matparayana. So this 9.34 said, this is the last verse of the 9th chapter. And it said that what is Krishna Bhakti? There are only 4 things we have to do. Manmana, always think of Krishna by chanting the holy names. Bhava madbhakto, become Krishna's devotee. And madhyaji, worship Krishna. And mam namaskuru, we have to offer obeisances unto Krishna. If we do all these 4 things, this is the essence of everything. Okay. So now we start this chapter 10, where the opulences of the absolute truth, Krishna, is explained. In the first 7 verses, it describes knowing that Krishna is unknowable and source of all. So Krishna's vibhuti is unlimited. If we want to understand Krishna fully, using our brain, our intelligence, our mind, so using our senses, intelligence, whatever faculties we have, we cannot capture Krishna by that, because Krishna is by definition infinite, and we are jiva. We are infinitesimal living entity. So being an infinitesimal living entity, we can never know the infinite Lord. The Sanskrit word for this is the Supreme Lord is called Vibhu, and we are called Anu. The Supreme Lord is called Vibhu Chaitanya, the infinite consciousness, and we are called Anu Chaitanya, the infinitesimal consciousness. So because we are infinitesimal and the Supreme Lord is infinite, with our infinitesimal brain, we cannot understand the glories of the Supreme Lord, the activities and pastimes of the Supreme Lord. But still, Krishna gives some glimpses of his infinite opulences so that our mind gets attracted to Krishna's lotus feet. So let's see what Krishna speaks in this section. So this section will basically say that how we cannot understand Krishna. Okay. Verse 1 of the 10th chapter, the opulence of the Absolute. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, the Supreme Lord says, Bhuya eva mahabaho shinu me paramam vacha yatteham priyamanaya bhakshami hita kamaya. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, listen again, O mighty Arjuna, because you are my dear friend. For your benefit, I shall speak to you further, giving knowledge that is better than what I have already explained. Okay, so Krishna is going into more deep knowledge about the absolute, opulences of the absolute. Krishna has not described about the opulences yet. Krishna has described about the process of devotional service. So now Krishna will explain about the opulences, which helps us to cultivate this process of devotional service. Okay. And again, this is very important for your benefit. The Supreme Lord is explaining the opulences not to show off or just to exercise the false ego. It's not for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord, but for our benefit. In the last session, we discussed about the from the prayers of Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj said that whenever the Supreme Lord is asking us to worship Him, it's not for His benefit, but it is for our benefit. Okay. So the same thing is happening here. The Supreme Personality of Godhead will explain, Krishna will explain the different opulences for our benefit. न मे विदुषुरगना प्रभवं न महर्षयाम् अहमादिर्हि देवानां महर्षिणां च सर्वशाम्. Neither the host of the demigods nor the great sages know my origin and opulences. For in every respect, I am the source of the demigods and sages. Krishna is the source of everyone, not only demigods and sages, but all living entities. Everyone came from Krishna. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate. That verse will come in the 10th chapter. And in this 10th chapter, also there is Chatushloki Gita. There is a section 10.8 to 11, 8, 9, 10, 11. In this 10th chapter, there are 4 verses, 8, 9, 10, 11. They are called Chatushloki Gita. So Chatushloki Gita means the entire Gita is summarized in those 4 verses. And Gita is the essence of the Vedic literature. And in this Chatushloki Gita, entire Gita is summarized. So those 4 verses are actually the summary of the entire Vedic literature. In the 10th chapter, 8, 9, 10, 11. So therefore, Krishna says that this is a very confidential knowledge. And although the demigods are much more intelligent than human beings, they have like everything. They have every faculty better than the human beings. Physical strength, intelligence, beauty. They have much more opulences than the human beings. And the great sages, they also have great yogic powers. So demigods with their influences, the great sages with their yogic powers, still they cannot know Krishna's origin and opulences. So what to speak of fallen conditioned souls like us? So Krishna gives the disclaimer before going into the details of different opulences that see, even the great sages and demigods, they cannot understand Krishna. We see different pastimes like Brahma Bimohan Lila, Indra Bimohan Lila, Shiva Bimohan Lila. So great demigods like Brahma, Indra, Lord Shiva, they even cannot understand the glories of the Supreme Lord. In the Brahma Bimohan Lila, when the Supreme Lord descended to this world and was performing pastimes in Vrindavan with his friends, then Brahmaji thought, who is this small boy? Let me trick that boy. And Brahmaji kidnapped all the friends of Krishna and all the cows of Krishna. And Brahmaji hidden them in a separate place. So Brahmaji thought that this boy will now cry Krishna. Krishna could understand that this is Brahmaji is playing a trick with Krishna. Brahmaji is trying to exercise his mystical powers with Krishna. And in front of Krishna, Brahmaji's mystical powers are like the firefly in front of the sun. Krishna is the master of all mystics. In the last verse of Bhagavad Gita 18.78, it is told that Jatra Yogeshwaro Krishna, Jatra Partha Dhanurdhara, Tatra Shir Vijayo Bhutir Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. So Krishna is called Yogeshwar, the master of all mystic powers. So Krishna could immediately understand the plan of Brahmaji, and Krishna wanted to teach a lesson to Brahma. And Krishna expanded himself into different Vishnu forms, and each of these Vishnu forms took the shape of the cowherd friends and the cows and calves. Then Krishna performed pastimes for 1 year with his Vishnu expansions. And Brahmaji came back. In the time frame of Brahma, like one moment is like 1 year in the earthly time frame. So Brahmaji came after some time, and Brahmaji thought, oh, it has been 1 year in the earth. So maybe Krishna will be very sad without his friends and calves and cows. But Brahmaji saw everything is going on as it is. There is no problem. Krishna is playing with friends. So what happened? Then Brahmaji got bewildered. How is this possible? I kidnapped the I kidnapped Krishna's friends and cows and cubs. How is this possible? So then Krishna revealed that each of these personalities, they are actually Vishnu Murtis, and Krishna is the origin of all Vishnus. So in this pastime, there are many lessons. Whenever Krishna performs any pastime, there are multiple lessons for conditioned souls like us. So one is the great demigods like Brahma also can misunderstand Krishna. Another is Krishna is the source of all Vishnu incarnations. In general, people have this misconception that Krishna is an incarnation of Vishnu. But actually, Krishna is the source of all Vishnu incarnations. So now we see this Brahma Bimohan Lila. In the Govardhan Lila also, Indra could not understand the glory of Krishna. And Indra wanted to drown the whole Vrindavan with rain. Because the Krishna told Vrindavan Vasis that why to do a yajna for Indra? You should do a fire sacrifice, or you should do a bhoga offering to Govardhan. Instead of worshipping Indra, you should worship Govardhan. And Indra became very angry. Indra could not understand this small boy is my master Krishna. And then Indra decided to drown the whole Vrindavan. Then Krishna performed the Govardhan Lila, and everyone was protected under Govardhan, and everything was going on very nicely. All the Vrindavan Vasis had a 7 day feast. Indra could not do a like Indra could not do anything. Like all the different efforts Indra was putting, it had no effect on the Vrindavan Vasis. So this is how, and also Shiva Vimohan Lila, when Krishna took the form of Mohini Murti, Lord Shiva also got bewildered. So this is how we see the great demigods like Brahma, Shiva, Indra, they all are getting bewildered. So that's why Krishna says that even the great sages and the demigods cannot understand. So this is a disclaimer that it is not easy to understand Krishna. Yomamajamanadim cha Vettilokamaheeshwaram Ashammudashamartyeshu Sarva Papai Pramuchyate. He who knows me as the unborn, as the meaningless, as the supreme lord of all the worlds, he only undeluded among men is freed from all the sins. If someone is able to understand Krishna up to some extent, it is impossible to understand Krishna fully because Krishna's glories are infinite. But we can have some understanding of the Supreme Lord. And here comes the difference between devotees and non devotees. Devotees are also infinitesimal jiva, and non devotees are also infinitesimal jiva. So there are different categories we discussed in the preliminary seminars like science of self realization. So these are called, the different categories are called tattva. So there are jiva tattva, jada tattva. So first comes jada tattva. Whatever non-living things we see around, they are coming under jada tattva. Jada means non-living. And then comes jiva tattva, like we all, human beings, animals, birds, insects, reptiles, trees, they are coming under this jiva tattva. They are living entities. And within the body of each of these living entity, there is a infinitesimal spirit soul. And that spirit soul is a part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. So this is the definition of a Jiva Tattva, infinitesimal portion of the Supreme Lord covered by a material body. Okay. Now within this category, even the demigods are also coming under this category. They are not gods. We cannot, like God and demigod, they are very different. Krishna is God. But the demigods, they are not coming into the category of Krishna. So they are called demigods. They are normal living entities like us, like Indra, Chandra, Varuna, Surya, Agni, Ganesh. Lord, Lord Shiva is a separate tattva, but there is a Rudra that is coming under Jiva tattva, one expansion of the Lord Shiva. So all these demigods, even ordinary souls like us, we can also aspire to become demigods. If we accumulate pious credit for multiple lifetimes, and if we become qualified to become a demigod, then we can become Indra. We can become even Brahmaji. Brahmaji is also the chief among all the demigods, and we can also become Brahmaji. So all the demigods, including Brahmaji, they are coming into the category of Jiva Tattva. Okay. And then higher than Jiva Tattva is Sambhu Tattva, Lord Shiva. Like yesterday, we had uh, Mahashivratri, right? So this Shiva Tattva is very different. This is not equal to Jiva Tattva, and it is not also equal to Vishnu Tattva. Vishnu Tattva means God, Krishna, Vishnu, and all different incarnations. Like Lord Bhamana, Nrsingadev, they are coming under this Vishnu Tattva. Shiva Tattva is inferior than Vishnu Tattva, but superior than the Jiva Tattva. Okay. So this Shiva Tattva or Shambhu Tattva is a transformation of Vishnu Tattva. And in the Brahma Samhita it is explained, just like the milk is transformed into curd. Now milk and curd, you can say they are same thing, but they are also very different thing. Srila Prabhupada gives this analogy that if you drink too much milk, your stomach will be upset. Then you have to take curd. So they have different properties and they have different nutritional values also. So in a way, they are made of the same material, but they have different properties. So similarly, Vishnu is like the milk and Lord Shiva is like the curd, a transformation of Vishnu. Okay. So it is called Vikar. Kshiram jatha dadi vikar vishesha yogat sanjayate nahi tatha prithagasti hetu yah shambhutam api tatha samupaiti karyad govindam adi purusham tamaham bhajami. So Lord Shiva is a transformation of the Vishnu Tattva. So there are different tattvas, and the Jiva Tattvas, they cannot completely know Krishna or the Vishnu Tattva. Vishnu Tattva is unlimited and Jiva Tattva is limited. And there are many analogies in this regard, just like Krishna is like the ocean and we are like the water droplet. So being a Jiva Tattva, we cannot understand Krishna. Now everyone, whether he is a devotee or not, everyone is a living entity and they are coming under Jiva Tattva. So nobody can understand Krishna, the devotees and the non-devotees. But the difference is, although the devotees are not able to completely understand Krishna, but whatever understanding they have about Krishna is correct. The non-devotees also do not completely understand Krishna, but whatever conception or understanding of Krishna they have is incorrect. Because if they had correct understanding of Krishna, they would not be a non-devotee. They would immediately become a devotee. Someone is not practicing Krishna consciousness, not chanting, not reading Bhagavad Gita, not being interested to achieve the ultimate goal of life, Krishna Prema, that means he has not understood Krishna yet. Therefore, he is behaving like a non-devotee. So the understanding of a devotee is correct. Nobody can understand Krishna fully, but the understanding of a devotee is correct. Now, in this verse, Krishna refers to that. He who knows me as the unborn. Krishna has many aspects, but there are very important aspects which everyone should know about Krishna. Krishna is unborn. Krishna is not like mere mortal like us. That is the first understanding. He is the beginningless and he is the supreme Lord of the all worlds. And from him everything emanate. All these basic understandings we must have about Krishna. And devotees, they have this understanding. And they therefore are undeluded among men. They are not affected by the Maya illusion. And they are freed from all sinful activities. So although we cannot know Krishna completely, but we should try to understand Krishna by following the footsteps of our previous acharyas, and we should have some correct understanding of Krishna. Okay. Buddhir jnanam asammoham shama satyam dama sama sukham dukkham bhavo bhavo bhayam cha bhayameva cha ahimsa samata tushtis tapodhanam yashojasham bhavanti bhavabhutanam matta eva prithak. Intelligence, knowledge, freedom from doubt and delusion, forgiveness, truthfulness, control of the senses, control of the mind, happiness and distress, birth, death, fear, fearlessness, non-violence, equanimity, satisfaction, austerity, charity, fame, and infamy. All these various qualities of living beings are created by me alone. Now, Krishna started to explain the different vibhutis. Okay. So, all these are different qualities or opulences, we can say, that we see here. We see someone very intelligent, someone knowledgeable. Some partial manifestation of these opulences we can find in this material world, but we cannot find complete manifestations. We cannot say someone is supremely intelligent. No one can be more intelligent than him. That is only Krishna. Freedom from doubt and delusion. This is also completely applicable only for Krishna. But even the pure devotees, they are also free from doubt and delusion. So why pure devotees are getting the similar characteristics as Krishna? Again, Srila Prabhupada gives the analogy. Just like if the iron is in touch with fire, if you keep the iron in touch with fire for a longer period of time, the iron will become red hot and it will behave like a fire. It will also have the property to burn. If you touch that, it will burn. So similarly, because the pure devotees are always connected to Krishna, what is the proof again? Krishna said in the 6th chapter, last verse, if you remember, योगिनामपि सर्वेषां मद्गतेनान्तरात्मनः श्रद्धावान् भजते यो मां समेयुक्ततमो मतान्. So Krishna said, and of all yogis, the one with great faith who always abides in me, thinks of me within himself, renders transcendental loving service, means devotional service to me. He is the most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. That is my opinion. So in this verse, Krishna uses the word bhajate. Shraddhavan bhajate yoma. Bhajate is the root word from which bhakti comes. Bhaj dhatu. So a bhakti yogi is very intimately connected with Krishna. He is the person who is most intimately connected with Krishna. No other yogis are connected with Krishna with such an intimacy. So because the pure devotees are always connected to Krishna, they acquire some of the qualities of Krishna. Forgiveness, truthfulness, control of the senses, control of the mind, happiness, distress, birth, death, fear, fearlessness, non-violence, equanimity, satisfaction, austerity, charity, fame, infamy. All these various qualities of living beings are created by me alone. So the opulences of Krishna becomes the opulence of a devotee. Okay, and we can see the pure devotees, they imbibe these qualities. There is another beautiful verse by Prahlad Maharaj in the 5th canto. Yashasti bhaktir bhagavat yakinchana. Prahlad Maharaj says, Yashasti bhaktir bhagavat yakinchana sarvergunaistattra samashate suram harava bhaktasya kuto mahadguna manorathena satidhavato vahi. All the demigods and their exalted qualities such as religion. Demigods are those personalities, by the way, who abide by the orders of the Supreme Lord. They follow the instruction of the Supreme Lord. So therefore, they are coming into the category of Sura. There are another category called Asura who do not follow the instructions of the Supreme Lord. They are called Asura. So in a way, if you are following Bhagavad Gita, if you are leading your life according to the principles of Bhagavad Gita, then you will be considered a Sura. Otherwise, you are Asura. If you say someone in this world, like even the Western people, they will not understand what is the meaning of Asura. But Indian people, they might understand the meaning. If you say someone you are an Asura, they will get offended. But actually, if you see, they are not behaving as per Bhagavad Gita. They do the exact opposite things Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita. Like most of like among the Hindus, this Vedic culture is almost gone. So rarely you will find in some places people are eating after offering bhoga to the Supreme Lord. This culture is not there. But Krishna meticulously mentioned in Bhagavad Gita that if you are not offering it to the deity and you are just taking the food, then you are engulfing sin. Okay, so that is not purified food. Krishna is telling Shatatam Kirtayanto Mam Jatantascha Didabrata. You should chant the holy names. Krishna says Manmana Bhava Madbhakto Mad Jaji Mam Namaskuru. Rarely anyone does that. So actually they are asuras. So all the demigods are suras, and their exalted qualities such as religion, knowledge, and renunciation become manifest in the body of one who has developed unalloyed devotion for the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vasudeva. So if someone is a devotee and active devotee, means constantly trying to improve himself in devotional service, then all these qualities, good qualities of the demigods, will automatically come into the character of that person who is a devotee. On the other hand, if a person is devoid of devotional service and engaged in materialistic activities, has no good qualities. Okay, why Prahlad Maharaj says they have no good qualities? Sometimes we find that some people are not devotees, but they have some good qualities. They are working hard and they are very patient and they do not get angry so easily. They are very, very regulated. Okay, there can be many good qualities. Someone is a good singer, someone is a good artist, but they are not a devotee, they are not worshipping Krishna. So Prahlad Maharaj says that if someone is not a devotee but he has good qualities, that good quality is useless. So our good qualities are like zeros, and if we are Krishna conscious, we put a 1 in front of those zeros, then all those zeros make sense. You are a good singer, that is useless. You will sing very well in this lifetime and then you will go to hell. What is the point of singing so nicely? But if you are a good singer and you are a Krishna devotee, then that singing has some significance. You will sing bhajans for Krishna and your spiritual credit will increase and you will not go to hell, you will go to the spiritual planet. So similarly, every quality, if it is not engaged in Krishna's service, that quality will degrade us. It will not give us any benefit. We might think that, oh, I am so famous and I have this much good qualities, but everything is useless. During death, everything will be taken away from you and you will be thrown into the darkest region of hell if we are not if we did not practice devotional service or we did not use our talents in Krishna's service. Even if he is adept at the practice of mystic yoga, this is a very great quality. Someone is a very great mystic yogi, or the honest endeavor of maintaining his family and relatives. See, Prahlad Maharaj is very, very practical. Somebody might say, I may not be a devotee, but I am a very nice person. I work honestly to maintain my family and I am not doing any harm to anyone. So, what is the problem? But I am not a devotee. But yes, there is a problem. Even if someone is a great mystic yogi or by honest means maintaining his family and relatives, he must be driven by his own mental speculations. He is not referring to the Shastras. He is acting according to own mental speculation. He is not following the instructions of Krishna and must engage in the service of Lord's external energy or Maya. That person is in Maya. How can there be any good qualities in such a man? If we can see, so the point Prahlad Maharaj is making a very beautiful point, that if you find any good quality in a non-devotee, you are also in Maya. Okay, this is a very wonderful point. It is worth contemplating that if you find good qualities in a non-devotee, then you are also in Maya. And there are also different verses in Srimad Bhagavatam. Like Srimad Bhagavatam goes one step higher. Let me show you another verse to explain this. 2,390. Okay. So here, Srimad Bhagavatam is chastising us. Srimad Bhagavatam is chastising us in this verse. Srimad Bhagavatam is non-different from Krishna. So we are little off topic from Gita. Gita is the instructions of Krishna and Srimad Bhagavatam is Krishna himself. And Srimad Bhagavatam is our dear friend, our father, our mother, and our well-wisher. Srimad Bhagavatam is everything. Just like Krishna is our best friend, father, mother, everything. Okay. Mata Ramo, Matpita Ramachandra, Swami Ramo, Matsakha Ramachandra, Sarvam Ramo, Ramachandram Dayalu, Nanyam jane, naiva jane, na jane. So just like that. So Srimad Bhagavatam, as our father is chastising us. Swavit host karahi samstutaha purusha pashuho najat karna patho peto jatuna magadagrajah. Very important verse. So it says, Swavit baraha ustakarahi samstutaha purusha pashuhu. Men who are like dogs, hogs, camels, and asses. Praise those men who never listen to the transcendental pastimes of Lord Sri Krishna, the deliverer from evils. So Srimad Bhagavatam is very direct. Srimad Bhagavatam says, no, this is wrong and this is right. Outrightly, Srimad Bhagavatam says, without any buttering, that if you are, let us read this once more, men who are like dogs, hogs, camels, and asses, this kind of persons, they praise another kind of person who never heard the glories of the Supreme Lord. So those men who never listen to the transcendental pastimes of Sri Krishna means non-devotees. And if you are praising this non-devotee, then you are like dog, hog, camel, and asses. Okay. So if you are finding good qualities in non-devotees, then actually you are in Maya. You are not a human being at all. You are just as an animal. Therefore, you can see good qualities in a non-devotee. Okay. Let me show you another reference from the Vyasa Narada Sambhava. It's slightly differently articulated by Narad Muni, but the principle is the same. Narad Muni comes to Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva wrote all the different Vedas and Puranas, and still Vyasadeva is dissatisfied at heart. Vyasadeva thinks, I have written these four Vedas, Rik, Sham, Yaju, Atharva, different Puranas, Mahabharata. And why I have written all this? For the benefit of the Kali Yuga people. People before Kali Yuga, they had sharp memories and they could remember everything. But this Kali Yuga people will not have sharp memories. So there is a need for writing down the scriptures. So for the benefit of the humanity in general, I have done this work, which is a great philanthropic work. Still, I am not finding any satisfaction at heart. Why? So Vyasadeva was contemplating in that way. And Narada Muni comes. Narada Muni is the guru of Vyasadeva. And then Narada Muni says, Najad vachas padam harirjasho jagat pavitram praginita karhichit tadva yasham tirthamushanti manasa najatra hamsa niramantu shikshaya. Narada Muni says, those words which do not describe the glories of the Lord, which alone can sanctify the atmosphere of the whole universe, are considered by saintly person to be like unto the place of pilgrimage for the crows. Since the all perfect persons are inhabitants of the transcendental abode, they do not derive any pleasure there. So in simple words, Narad Muni says, O Vyasadeva, you know why you are dissatisfied? Because you have written all these different Vedas and Puranas, but you have written different means of sense gratifications just to attract people in general. So Vyasadeva was, while writing, Vyasadeva was thinking, if I directly say that you should do Krishna Bhakti, you should not do any sense gratification, no meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, no illicit sex, only chanting of Hare Krishna. It will be super strict for people in general of this Kali Yuga. So let me try to butter them in a way. Oh, you want to enjoy the heavenly pleasure? Okay, you do this fire sacrifice, then you can enjoy. You want a beautiful wife? You do this demigod worship, then you can get that. You want good health? You want this, you want that, you want wealth, you want money. So different processes Vyasadeva has mentioned in the Karma Kanda sections of these Vedic literatures. And therefore, Narada Muni is criticizing Vyasadeva, what you have written, those words have nothing to do with glorifying Krishna. And those words which do not describe the glories of the Lord, these glories of the Lords are the only thing which can sanctify the atmosphere, which can purify the people. But you have written something else, sense gratification. Why? For buttering people. Do you know what is those literatures? Your literatures are like places of pilgrimage for the crows. So what is the meaning of this? The pilgrimage place for crows is the dustbin. A crow is very happy if he gets a dustbin. There is the crow can feast on the dustbin. So therefore, Narada Muni is criticizing Vyasadev's literatures, in which Vyasadev mentioned different ways of sense gratification, that they are like dustbin. Whatever you have written till now is just like dustbin. So I will just throw it away, and no sadhu will read your these literatures. In the next verse, Narada Muni says, Tadvag visargo janatagha biplabo yasmin pratishlokam avadyavatyapi namanyanantasya jashunkitani yat shrinvanti gayanti granhanti sadhavam. On the other hand, that literature which is full of description of the transcendental glories, the name, fame, forms, pastimes of the Lord, the unlimited Supreme Lord, is a different creation full of transcendental words dictated towards bringing about the revolution, in the impious lives of this world's misdirected civilization. Such transcendental literatures, even the imperfectly composed, very important, are heard, sung, accepted by purified men who are thoroughly honest. So Narada Muni says, you have written everything very perfectly, all the grammatical constructs and poetry, you have followed all rules. They're perfect composition wise, but they do not describe the glory of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, I consider it to be a dustbin. On the other hand, if you had written some literature of which every word is describing the glories of the Supreme Lord, but you have made so many grammatical mistakes, I don't mind. And the sadhus will still hear it, still sing it, and still accept the teachings of this literature. So the point Narada Muni is making, that even if you have external good qualities, but internally it is not describe the glories of the Supreme Lord, then it is a dustbin. But if you do not have external good qualities, but the literature is describing the glories of the Supreme Lord, then that is accepted. So similarly, if a person has so many externally good qualities, but the person is not a devotee, the person is useless. But if a person is a devotee, but might not have many good qualities, but that person is better than this. So this is the teaching which is given by different acharyas, and we see like Prahlad Maharaj and Narad Muni, they are also giving these teachings. And by the way, Narad Muni is the spiritual master of Prahlad Maharaj also. So here we see the teachings of the Guru and Shishya, they are complying with each other. Okay, so Krishna says all these important qualities or opulences, origin of all these opulences is Krishna, and these qualities come into the character of a devotee of Krishna. Okay. Okay, now in the verse 6, Krishna says, Maharshaya Sapta Purve Chatvaro Manovastatha Madhvaba Manasa Jata Ye Samaloka Ima Praja. The 7 great sages, Saptarshis, and before them the 4 other great sages, and the Manus, Chatushkumar, and the Manus, progenitors of the mankind, come from me. So we came later. All these great sages came from Krishna in the beginning. We all know that we have a Gotra, right? Someone has a Gotra, Kashyap, Gautam, Sandilya. These are great sages, and we are the descendants of these great sages. The first generated living entity is Brahma, and from Brahma comes Chatushkumar, and then from Brahmaji comes other sages, and then we come in their lineage. So Krishna says, in the beginning of this creation, Brahmaji, these 4 great sages, and Manus, the progenitors of mankind, everyone come from me. So Krishna is the source of the entire creation. Born from my mind, and all the living beings populating the various planets descend from them. We all descend from them. Okay. So Krishna is establishing the fact that everyone is coming from Krishna. Etam vibhutimam yogam cha mama yo vetti tattvata swavikalpena yogena yujyate natra samshaya. One who is factually convinced of this opulence and mystic power of mind engages in unalloyed devotional service, there is no doubt. So this is the purpose Krishna is explaining this chapter. If we are convinced about the opulences and mystic power of Krishna, and we are convinced that Krishna is the Supreme Lord, no one is equal or greater than Krishna, Krishna is greatest, then our devotion becomes unalloyed. Otherwise, it will become alloyed by what? we will think, okay, I'm a devotee of Krishna, but I can also pray to some demigods. I think Krishna cannot protect me in some situation. This demigod will protect me. So this is called alloyed devotion, impure devotion. Whatever benedictions the demigods will provide you is actually given by Krishna. We discussed it in the 7th chapter. So we should have firm faith in Krishna and unalloyed fixed devotion. And that comes when we again and again hear about the opulences of Krishna. Okay. So therefore, Krishna gave this um, intro in this chapter, chapter 10. The first 7 verses, Krishna told that how Krishna is unknowable. Even the great sages and the demigods cannot know Krishna. And Krishna is the source of all. That is the first opulence Krishna mentioned in this section. Krishna will mention about other opulences also in the coming verses. Okay. So we'll discuss that in the next class. Okay. Any questions from any portions of Gita, whatever we discussed? Yes, Ayush Prabhu.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी।
Hare Krishna.
प्रभु जी, जैसा मतलब just like you just said that we should have unalloyed devotion to Krishna. In some circumstances, we heard from many devotees that we can do Shivaratri and pray to Lord Shiva so that he can grant us to get out of this materialistic desire, because he was the husband of the Maya, Mahamaya. So is it not kind of alloyed devotion? Because at the end of the day, we are praying to him, even though our purpose is pure, our motive is pure, but still we are not have firm faith on Krishna that he will deliver us. So,
Okay.
is it not contradictory?
Okay, I will explain this with a verse. Okay, so there is a Vaishnava prayer we can do for Lord Shiva, which is like we can do in Mahashivratri. In US, the Mahashivratri is today. So it's good that you brought up this question. We all get to chant this verse and understand the meaning. So I encourage everyone to chant this verse because today is Shivratri. Vrindavana Vanipate Jaya Soma Soma Maule Sanaka Sanandana Sanatana Naradedya Gopishwara Braja Vilashi Yugangri Padme Prema Prayacha Nirupadi Namo Namaste. So this is a very bona fide prayer, and this was composed by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, one of our acharyas. And if we pray like this is allowed, no problem. We are not doing demigod worship. Just try to understand the meaning. We are praying to Lord Shiva that, O gatekeeper of Vrindavan. In Vrindavan, Lord Shiva resides as the gatekeeper. Lord Shiva examines every devotee who is entering Vrindavan. Without the blessings of Lord Shiva, you cannot visit Vrindavan Dham. Kameshwar Mahadev, Chakleshwar Mahadev, Gopeshwar Mahadev, Nandishwar Mahadev. These 4 Mahadevs are there and protecting Vrindavan. O Soma, O Lord Shiva, all glories to you. O you, whose forehead is decorated with the moon, or Soma, and who is worshipable to the sages headed by Sanaka, Sanandana, and Narada. All the great sages, they are also devotees of Krishna, and they are also worshipping Lord Shiva. O Gopishwara, desiring that you bestow upon me the pure love for the lotus feet of Sri Sri Radha Krishna, who performs the joyous pastimes in Brajadham, I offer my obeisances unto you again and again. So our Rasik Acharyas say that Krishna can protect us and Krishna can give us everything. But Krishna do not have one thing which Krishna cannot give us. Do you know what is that? Krishna does not have love for himself. Krishna has love for the devotees, and the devotees have love for Krishna. So if you pray to Krishna that, oh Krishna, give me love for you, Krishna cannot give you because Krishna does not have any love for himself. Krishna have love for Radharani. Krishna have love for the devotees. So if you want Krishna prem, you should ask from a devotee. And Lord Shiva is Vaishnavanam Jatha Shambhu. So see, in this prayer, we are not praying to Lord Shiva that, oh Lord Shiva, we have come with a problem which Krishna even could not solve. Please solve that problem for me. It's not like that. But the mood is, because you are a pure devotee, you possess so much love for Krishna. Please give me some fraction of that love so that I can also worship Radha and Krishna very well. So this is completely bona fide and Vaishnava worship of Lord Shiva. This is not falling into the category of demigod worship or unalloyed devotion. This is pure devotion. In the scriptures, it is mentioned that like Lord Shiva only says that Aradhananam Sarvesham Vishnu Aradhanam Param. Out of all different aradhanas or worship, Aradhana of Vishnu is the topmost. Tashmat Parataram Devi Tadiyanam Samarchanam. And even higher than the worship of Vishnu is the worship of the followers of Vishnu or the Vaishnavas. And if the Vaishnava is pleased, then Krishna is obviously pleased. There are
Prabhuji, yes, true. Actually, in this connection, I would like to ask one question, another, because you says that worship of Vaishnavas are greater than worship of Lord Vishnu. And what should be our consciousness? What should be our intention while worshipping Vaishnavas? Can you elaborate? So that one might not fall on the alloyed devotion
okay.
from an alloyed path.
If you are worshipping Vaishnavas, there is no chance that you can go in the route of alloyed devotion. But to answer your question, that how we should worship a Vaishnava in a proper way, the answer is the Vaishnava song Ohe Vaishnava Thakur. In that mode, Bhakti Vinod Thakur explains us how we should worship the Vaishnavas. We should pray to the Vaishnavas. Ohe Vaishnava Thakur Dayara Sagar Yadashe Karuna Kari. I recommend you read the translation. O Venerable Vaishnava, devotee of Krishna, ocean of mercy, be merciful unto your servant. We should think ourselves to be servant of Vaishnava. And Krishna says in Adi Puran, Jo me bhakta jano partha name bhaktascha te jana mad bhaktanam cha je bhakta te me bhakta tamo mata. If you are directly worshipping Krishna, then you are not actually Krishna's devotee. But if you are worshipping a Vaishnava, then actually you are Krishna's devotee. So worshipping a Vaishnava is not out of Krishna Bhakti, but it is Krishna Bhakti. Okay? Worship of Vaishnava is the correct way of worshipping Krishna. See, for very people with very low consciousness, you have to make them understand that, see, you should not worship the demigods, you should worship Krishna. So this is a lower level. And even lower than that, people are atheists. So you have to say them, worship someone. Even if you worship demigods, it is okay, no problem. So for the atheist, the prescription will be, even demigod worship is allowed, no problem. If someone is worshipping demigods, you try to uplift them one step higher, that you should worship Krishna. Why you are doing worship of Krishna indirectly, which is not recommended? So do worship of Krishna. When we start doing worship of Krishna, then there is another step higher. That actually, Krishna will be more pleased if you take shelter of a Vaishnava. That is more correct way of worshipping Krishna. So worshipping a Vaishnava is the most exalted way of worshipping Krishna and the most easiest way to please Krishna. So if you go through this should be our mood when we worship the Vaishnava Thakur. And the greatest worship is following the Vani Seva, following the instructions of that Vaishnava. Like whatever Srila Prabhupada said, whatever our Guru Maharajas give instructions, the senior devotee is giving instruction. If you follow that, that is the greatest worship. But because if you try to worship them with Arati and all, they will get embarrassed and they will not allow you to do that. So the best way to serve Vaishnavas is to follow their instructions. And this is the highest form of worship of Krishna. Why? Because Krishna is coming to you in disguise of a Vaishnavas and telling you to do what to do. If you do that, that is the greatest form of service. Is it clear?
Yes, Prabhu. Like Path Pradarshak Guru, Krishna is coming.
Shiksha Guru, Diksha Guru. You should follow their instructions.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Kaushiki, have any questions?
Yes, Prabhu. So I don't have questions regarding this session. So people say that there is Krishna's heart present inside Lord Jagannatha's Vigraha. So is that true?
Yes. So I will give you another lecture which is related to Navakalevar. Remind me, then I can send you. There is a festival in Jagannath Puri called Navakalevar, where Jagannath's body is changed after 12 years or 15 years. There is a particular tithi in which Jagannath's body is changed. So Jagannath ji is a very special Lord, and Jagannath ji shows that, see, I am also like you. Jagannath ji shows us that, oh Jiva, you do not think I am very different. I am Vishnu Tattva and you are Jiva Tattva. That differentiates us. That makes me very far from you. But Jagannath ji wants to be a Jiva Tattva. Therefore, the Jagannath ji's body is also made up of different layers like Aguru, Chandan, and there are veins also in the body of Jagannath, veins made up of ropes. So Jagannath ji's body is almost human like. And Jagannath ji says that, see, every 15 year my body is changed, just like you are a spirit soul, and when you die you change the body, the soul transmigrates. See, my body, I am also going through this transmigration, and in that process of transmigration, after 15 years, this old body of Jagannath is discarded, and then Jagannath ji is transported into a new body. And while transporting into the new body, one Shaligram Shila is transformed from the body of the old Jagannath deity to the new Jagannath deity. And that Shaligram Shila is very, very special. We have seen Shaligram Shilas, many devotees worship. But while transferring that Shaligram Shila, the whole Puri is blacked out. And that particular Shaligram Shila, when you hold, you have to be blindfolded. You cannot see that. Otherwise, you will become blind immediately. So when the Pujari shared experiences that when I hold that Shaligram Shila, it was like a living stone. It was like a rabbit, and it was like a heart pumping, kind of. So the Pujari could feel that. Obviously, yes, the Shaligram Shila is in a different level altogether. So there are different levels of Shaligram Shila also. And the Shaligram Shila in the body of Lord Jagannath is a living stone. So yes, some people say that is heart of Krishna, but that is not different from Lord Vishnu, Lord Jagannath. Yeah. Okay, is that answer your question?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. All right, so we are over time. So we'll stop today here. We'll continue with the 10th chapter of Gita in the next class. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.